The 400R looks polished from the outside, but all it takes is a corner or three to realize this thing means business. But so do Ruff and Singer, so how's the Gunther unique? What really separates the car from the pack is the sense of cohesion that the entire project uses. The GT3-inspired theme influenced every choice on the car. It's not simply a modified Porsche, it's an attempt to build a Porsche that never was. Neither money nor time were spared, and the final product shows that. Let's talk about the car's roots. By the time the 993 rolled off the line, new suspension and a wider rear had calmed the inherent compromises that come with a rear-engine car. Both helped improve the car's stability without ruining what makes a 911 special in the first place. When CEO Peter Nahm decided wanted to build a modern interpretation of a Luftjackel, that's German for air-cooled, GT3, he thought it's best to start with a good base. Every decision thereafter was centered around performance. Less attention was paid to luxury or aesthetic touches. The 400R is truly a form follows function, corner carving hammer. For reference, there was a factory-built 993 GT2. That car was a bonkers homologation special based on the 993 Turbo, packing close to 500 horsepower from its turbo flat 6. On the other hand, the 400R is built with a GT3 mentality. That means a lightweight platform and a naturally aspirated engine aimed at peak performance on both the street and the track. Sure, they're pretty bare bones, but you still get things like a radio, and even air conditioning. Let's start with those achingly wide fenders. It may not look like it, but the 400R actually has front and rear tracks of the same width, 63 inches. For reference, that's 2.3 inches wider than the front track on the current 911 Turbo S. The extra width out front has a drastic and wonderful effect on the steering and overall balance of a car. This move influenced nearly every other performance-minded change to the car, from the suspension geometry to the custom carbon fiber bodywork, every panel but the doors, supplied by Nahm's company Werks. The 400R comes with custom valve coilovers from KW Club Sport, RS uprights, and adjustable tie rods. Each car will be corner balanced and aligned for each individual customer, with tons of man-hours devoted to meticulously tuning and refining the handling. The car I drove was fairly neutral, though Gunther Werks sales and technical director Amjad Ali admitted his preferred setup would put a little more life in the rear, even at the expense of pure pace. Ali is a former Ruff owner and Porsche racer, so he knows how to dial in a 911. The ride on city streets is surprisingly compliant given the amount of work spent tuning this car for performance handling. I wouldn't recommend taking this on a road trip, but for short drives to the track or a good back road, the 400R is fine. There's even a button to lift the nose so you don't take a chunk out of the carbon fiber bumper or scrap the Carmen red paint. Now, the best suspension tuning in the world would be wasted if there wasn't an adequate powertrain to back it up. Resting under that big rear wing is a spitting, snarling, naturally aspirated 4.0-liter flat 6 was developed and built by Roth Sport Racing. Roth Sport is an Oregon-based Porsche tuner best known for rebuilding and modifying air-cooled 911 engines. All 431 horses are free to roam and unencumbered by things like an AC compressor or power steering pump. This engine is a shining standout in the days of turbocharging, responding to each and every dip of the throttle with the response of a synapse firing off chemical signals.